Hello, everyone. You are welcome to Anchor Network, where you get reliable and authentic news that are so crucial to you. I say big thank you to everyone who has been part of this channel and who has taken time to subscribe. And if you are yet to subscribe, I say please click the red subscribe button and also the bell icon. The bell icon will allow you to get notified anytime we publish any news. General Muhammad Buhari has indeed come a long way, transmuting from an army general and head of state to a democratic PMB. When it comes to security, all other laws take a backseat. Nigeria must survive first, then we can begin to consider your rights, customs boss, retired Colonel Ahmed Ali. The rancor that the closure of our land borders has generated has generally been centered around economic reasons, underscoring how importers of goods are running huge losses and deficits in their daily trade, with thousands of trailers carrying goods now stuck at our land borders. The closure of the land borders has seen to a marginal rise in inflation, edging up to 11.24% in September 2019, its highest level since June, after falling to a 3.5-year low of 11.02% in August of 2019. We have heard that Benin Republic's economy is suffering huge trade deficits as well as Ghana's, and the two countries have bemoaned Nigeria's closure of its land borders, not the seaports. A social commentator, Patricia Nwanyiwu, launched a salvo against this border closure, citing how the masses are suffering while a few people are smiling to the bank. She says that the closure of is an indictment on the efficiency of our customs and immigration services. She stresses that the local policies should be well articulated before implementation, creating an environment where local farmers are encouraged, thereby producing rice and other items in surplus, which would win out the practice of rice importation. Aminu Yakubu, a rice farmer, countered that, saying, as a practicing farmer, I would say that the closure of the land borders is good, particularly because the customs just announced that all imports and exports must go through the seaports for now. He continued by saying, I noticed that a few weeks after the closure of the borders, the price of rice rose as high as 23,000 naira for a 50 kg bag. But as we harvest more of our local rice, meal and send to the market, the prices are gradually coming down to about 17,000 naira for even the foreign rice, and I foresee a further decline in these prices as more rice is expected locally. Yakubu says, we can achieve self-sufficiency in food production if we solve and tackle three main issues, namely: 1, insecurity; 2, farmer and herders clashes; as 3, access to credit for local farmers. With this, he says there wouldn't be the need for the importation of beans from Burkina Faso or maize from Argentina. He laments that an abundant part of our arable land is left uncultivated. Kadawa town alone in Kano can meet the nation's local demand for tomatoes. Even Thailand and Malaysia have joined in with Ghana and Benin Republic to decry the border closure. This further highlights the fact that Nigeria has been in economic servitude to many of the Western African countries, either in subsidies for petroleum products and other goods, or the free and untaxed importation of goods flowing from the ports of these countries. In essence, import duty receipts are on the increase for Benin Republic, while revenue to be generated from duties our ports and borders continue to decline. For instance, Dunlop closes shop in Nigeria only to go and set up in Ghana, with Nigeria still its largest target market. Benin Republic and Co. receive huge revenue from duties charged for goods arriving their ports, which they absolutely do not consume or utilize, and then allow to encourage the free flow of these goods into Nigeria via our very porous land borders without paying the federal government a dime. Protocols and agreements are in place for the exchange of goods between the West African states, but our neighboring countries flout them to the detriment of our revenues, with calamitous consequences to our insecurity concerns. The Nigeria Customs Service went as far as procuring vehicles, ammunition, and other equipment for the immigration and customs services of these neighboring countries for the proper policing and escorting of goods into Nigeria, such that duties for the goods are properly paid for, as against the practice of smuggling in these items, an illicit trade that has always been injurious to our revenue generation. Despite the closure of the land borders, some unscrupulous businessmen are currently rebagging smuggled foreign rice and selling them off as Koskari's rice. The IMF, through the Assistant Director of its Fiscal Department, Kati Patilo, has commended Nigeria as doing better with tax audits, e-filing, closing loopholes, combating corruption in tax offices, increased exercise taxes, and the launch of the Strategic Growth Initiative. The IMF says that the inflow of investments of sub-Saharan African remains strong and will reach its highest this year. With global financial conditions favoring Nigeria, Patilo says the issuance of bonds in foreign and local currencies is possible because of these favorable conditions, as she explained that what Nigeria does with these funds is key to economic growth. If structural reforms are undertaken, apparently the benefits of the border closure might have short-term discomfort, but would be of immense benefit in the long term. Indigenous meals would flood the market soon, and prices will plunge, while government saves foreign exchange from unnecessary foreign financing for the importation of locally produced goods. PMB has taken very decisive actions with respect to many pertinent issues that have begged for attention, either in the present administration or lingered over governance decisions for a long period of time over successful government. Drones are now to be deployed in the patrol of and surveillance of the land borders to curb smuggling and illegal immigration, which borders on national security and the fight against terrorism. PMB is downsizing the cost of governance, at least at the executive level for starters, cutting down the obstacles, frequency of foreign trips, and sizes of government delegations. He even recently barred ministers and heads of MDAs from traveling abroad until they have successfully defended their budgets at the National Assembly. The NDDC, the cash cow, the citadel of corruption, where billions are flushed down the drain to the safe havens of corrupt government officials, is undergoing a forensic audit, and fund released for projects which have not been executed will be recovered. Nigeria is having another $2.3 billion partnership with Canada for improved electricity generation and distribution, following up to the Nigeria Siemens Power Generation Project. The Akano Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, is receiving a 10 billion naira special intervention for its upgrade as an international airport and a national image portal. Calabar Seaport is being revived and has already been witnessing great activity, yielding revenue for government. Now we hear that the army is going into aviation for a final onslaught and total eradication of Boko Haram. More and more coaches are arriving for the Kaduna-Abuja rail line, for the light rail Abuja Metro and the Warri and Itakwe line, as well as the Lagos-Ibadan rail. In my last article on the 6th of October titled Border Closure, a opportunist gift for Nigeria at 59, I have said that right now PMB's government thrust should be like the activity of a chef cooking up a buffet, so that by 60, Nigeria at 60, we can begin to return to the glamorous celebrations of October 1st. Those structural reforms, executive order, and policy drives are churning out fast. GMB has indeed come a long way, transmuting from an army general and head of state to a democratic PMB. Now we are witnessing the seemingly deft and necessary strides of a new MB. New MB, Muhammad Buhari, is swifter and, of course, tenacious. Muhammad Buhari. And this article is written by Taha Ibrahim Taha uh, Taban Bauchi. So, guys, this article is just trying to tell us that Buhari, that has been formerly referred to as a Baba Goslu, is now Baba Fast. According to this article, that is what this article is just trying to tell us. All the things that he has been able to do in this new regime. In a nutshell, that is just what it's all about. Talking about the border closure, talking about how he has told officials of the government not to be traveling abroad, and all of that. The 10 billion naira given to the southeast for the uh in a renovation or for the repairs of a Enugu airport, international airport, and many things like that, saying that by the time Nigeria will be clocking 60 years, we would have been talking of a good governance. And now that is faster compared to before. They usually refer him to Baba Goslow. But one thing I really want to pick out from this whole thing is that they are talking about the closure of borders because of to be able to fight corruption, fight terrorism, and all of that. Quite good. But the major areas where those who are committing this crime, those who are bringing in ammunition, is from the north. And that's why people are saying, if really you are really sincere about this closure of border, that you are trying to use it to shut down, terrorism and this insecurity, it is not really well articulated, because it has to go around, because that is the area where foreigners are coming into the country. But as far as I'm concerned, they are just trying to make money, to make more revenues, according to what we have seen, according to what even the Controller General of Customs has been saying. They have been making a huge lot of money now since they have closed the land borders, because when they talk about the southern area of Nigeria, that is where business is really taking place. But the other side of the country, which is the northern area, that is where people all have been coming to commit mayhem, and those areas are not checked. And one of the people that commented in this article said it is an indictment on our custom officers and all these immigration people, because if they are doing their job very, very well, even the land borders that they are closing in terms of business, they would have been able to manage, and they would have been able to do a lot of things and do their job correctly. And more so, the corruption is really, really, on the high side when it comes to that area, because they are not doing their job. It's an indictment to them. So what happens, because they have left their jobs and be doing something different, and that's why you think that the money they're supposed to pay into the country, where other countries are supposed to pay, through the land borders, it's not being achieved. And that's why they really want to go back to the area of it has to be seaport or through airport, for anybody who wants to clear his or her goods. Now they don't even care the effect it's going to have on the people, but what they are just hammering on concerning what we have seen, based on what we have heard, is all about revenue drives. And now what IMF is saying is that, okay, good and fine, everything that you are doing is okay, but in as much what you are going to recover from it is going to be spent back, is going to be put on infrastructure, for people to now see the effect. But a situation whereby you get the money, you get all those revenues, and at the end of the day, it's not being pumped back to the people. That is where the problem lies, because a lot of people are really happy. Oh, IMF has supported them. Oh, he says it's a good thing. But the end point is what Nigerians are always not comfortable with, because they will tell you all manner of things. Oh, we are doing so and so because of the people. But at the end of the day, it turns out to be untrue, and it turns out to be that the people will be the one that will suffer it. Now all the policies that they have made in the past, deceiving Nigerians, that after those policies, in no time Nigeria will start getting the dividends of democracy, or dividends of that policy. But at the end of the day, it turns out to be untrue, and people are suffering day in, day out. Now they are taxing everything taxable. It is only here that is remaining for us not, for them not to have tax. Just talking, communication, every area they say they are going to be taxing because they want to get more revenue. It's all about revenue drives. But at the end of the day, once they get the money, what do they do with the money? How does it affect the masses in the first place positively? That is where the people are not trusting the government. Taxes have been collected before now, but we are not seeing the effects on ground. They will get the money. They told us that they are recovering a lot of looted funds, but people have been asking. You are priding and bragging that you have recovered a lot of looted funds. Where are the money? Where have you spent it? Or is it on infrastructure or whatever? Because we cannot see. We need to see something that is more tangible. Like I always say, no government, who has never done one or two things. They are always involved in one or little project. But those projects are not what, one can really be proud of, because they are just little things that that are just normal. But we are talking of something that is more dramatic, something that will be visible to even the whole world, not even every the people in the country alone. That is where the problem comes in. So as this article is just trying to say, the new Buhari now, is doing things fast, so fast and so fast, that people can no longer refer him to Baba Guslu. That is in my own opinion, from what I get from this whole thing, and for people who have said one or two things. But so, if really you are doing all of these things, you need to put other measures in ground so that it will cushion the effect of these things that you have created. As it is now, they are not bothered what people are facing. They are just concerned about revenue generation, to derive more revenue from this whole process, not to look at the people from the other side. If you really they want to be truthful about this terrorism, they know other areas which they really need to cover. And I just believe that because they've been so fast, because the first time they introduced Ruga, livestock and all of that, people are not buying into it. Oh, the next thing, they stop importation of a milk into the country. All of those things. And at the end of the day now, they are bringing all of these things because they didn't even prepare people's mind towards it. When you want to do this kind of a thing, you need to prepare people's mind. Say, okay, these are the things we want to do. These are the things that, will be coming up. That these are the things that we have in pipeline that we are going to be executing. No, all of a sudden, they just close the border. Pam. And you expect people not to react, and no other alternative for them. You say whatever, they are going to be getting or they are going to be experiencing is none of your business, in as much you get the money. But it's an indictment, just like somebody said, that people that you have put on the borders to man the borders and to do the right things, they are not doing it because they are allowing all manner of things, to come in, and corruption is still there. And what you are still talking about, you are talking about terrorism. Hey, but the other porous borders in the north, what are you doing about them? What are you doing about them? So, guys, I would like to hear from you whether you think that Buhari is a new Buhari now, or he has changed and is doing things, just to satisfy Nigerians. If that's the way it is, please leave your comments below in the comment section and let's hear your own take. Thank you very much. Bye.